Good morning and good evening, and have a good day or good day to wherever you are in the world. And joining us for this LinkedIn Live, where we talk a little bit about what is happening in the wonderful world of LinkedIn. And we, meaning Guy Strebos and myself. And we're on episode 115 in our lifetime of these LinkedIn live shows. Guy, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Mick. Wow, episode 115.
Yep.
It's growing.
Yes, we keep adding on episodes week after week, and all of a sudden you realize you're over 100. And now I realize we're at 115.
Well, job well done so far.
I guess. I guess. So, if people are listening, please do enter the place where you're from. If you have any questions, do not hesitate. Throw them in the comments, and we will try and reply to your questions or respond to your questions. So, Guy, I think today we're going to talk a little bit about company pages and about business premium pages.
Absolutely. Because this article was published yesterday, I think it was, by Oscar Rodriguez, Vice President of Product at LinkedIn, about
Okay.
and he talked about verification of pages.
Mhm.
And until now, company page verification, as he writes, was available only to a limited number of organizations and by request. And that will change today, he's writing here. So they're increasing access to all companies with a premium company page subscription, unlocking access for more businesses. And I'm sure you too, Mick, when you hear this, it will raise some questions. Are we
Yeah,
going
definitely.
to pay for verification, or do we need to pay for verification? What in the case if you have a premium page, will you lose verification when you cancel your subscription? Kevin D. Turner responded, I applied
Mhm.
for verification over 2 years ago. Do I have to pay for it now? So, it brings some questions and also discussions forward. So
Mhm.
that's my input for this morning
Good,
or for
good, good.
today. And I already got a reply, but first of all, Mick, what is your response to a message like this?
Well, that to me, it shouts that if you pay, you get a verified company page, meaning the only way I am ever going to get a verified company page is when I pay for that, for my page to be a premium page. And, this will also unlock, I think, the fact that exactly the thing LinkedIn wants to fight, which is fake profiles. If you're willing to pay for a fake company page, I guess you can then get fake profiles approved and verified. So I think if they link it to paying, that's going to be a really bad idea.
Say that again. So if you're willing to pay for a fake page
Well,
pro,
if I have a company page, which might be real in itself, but I create a bunch of fake profiles that are linked to my company page
so as a
and are
person,
a person there, and then they obviously have to have an email address at that company page, but that we all know is not that much of a problem. All these fake profiles could all of, because of the company page being verified, could now all of a sudden be verified profiles, which they really aren't.
but would it pay off, Mick, to activate such an effort to create fake profiles?
I I don't think people who want to cheat, people who want to use fake profiles, for them it's peanuts.
Yeah, no,
and
sure.
and it becomes easy because we all know if your company page is verified, any email address you have for a personal profile will can be verified because of the email address. So you open the door for even more fake profiles, but they are now being verified.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a good idea.
Time will tell again, as usual. My reply to Oscar and to someone responding, well, please clarify, be more transparent in your activities.
How do you mean?
It raises a lot of questions, even if you're active on LinkedIn on a daily basis.
Right.
So Kevin responded, for example, I requested company page verification over 2 years ago and it's still pending. So does it mean I'll now have to add premium company page to get verified? It's a legit question, I guess.
Yep. I think it is, and from what I understand, that is kind of like the way they want to go, because I don't think, I mean, what to verify.
I'm not sure what's happening to your microphone, Mick. I lost you there. So it's very, very quiet on your side of.
Okay, I'm gonna go to this one. So I hope now my microphone is better.
Yeah.
I mean, the interesting question to me is, how do they verify a company page? With a personal profile, it's kind of simple. They go to, you can scan your passport, and you have personal data. But how do they verify, company pages? Is there a way they can do this in a simple way? I mean, I can think of a few, but how are they doing it?
The Chamber of Commerce would be a possibility.
Exactly.
But then again, well, here's a reaction of Beth Granger, replying, "This is great. There are unfortunately too many scams, and this will help people know they are engaging with a real person or entity." So, sure, you have some positive comments, also some questions, and it's not criticism. It's being realistic and understanding the game, how it's played, like Kevin mentioned in his reply, and like I did, I guess. And then Eli Agra Serfati, who is a digital agency in Tel Aviv, Israel, replied as well. He wrote, let me see, where's his reply? Thanks for jumping in the comments, because someone replied, once a page is verified, your page will keep the verification, even if you cancel your subscription. So he says, thanks for jumping in the comments and answering. When will premium pages be rolled out to more pages? I work with many who want to upgrade but don't have the option to add at all. So is there a way to expedite the access for them? So again, is this a shining, blinking object, Mick, from one of the engineers who have to perform and keep adding new features to the LinkedIn program? Or is it a real benefit to us all?
Well, I think most importantly, LinkedIn is looking at more ways to make money.
Sure.
If forcing people and companies mainly companies, to pay for a premium subscription, well, it's going to bring in the money that it's going to bring in. It's not a huge amount, but still, it is a serious amount. I mean, I guess it's like 700 euros a year, if I understand it. So I mean, money is money for LinkedIn, I guess.
Sure. But it's so generic, Mick, with the language they use. A verified premium company page helps businesses stand out with confidence. Our recent research found that 85% of businesses buyers says that trust is critical. I mean, it's a lot of blah blah.
Mhm.
Well, we have to
The,
see what will happen. But it's
the
crazy.
ground rule, the ground rules are obviously correct. I mean, the basis on which it's built is obviously
Sure,
correct.
sure, Mick. But it's crazy to see that that we applied for a verification over 2 years ago,
True.
and it's the same with rollout of new features. Sometimes it will take over a year, or sometimes even more, to be rolled out to all of the users. So
Right.
you never know in what category
Mhm.
you are working in.
Yep. The other, you're right. I mean, I don't even know if it's still a thing, but having 5 choices in a poll, I still
Mhm.
don't have it, and I don't know if this was killed or if it's still around. So,
Well, this wasn't rolled out that long ago, Mick, so you have to be patient.
ooh, ooh, it was rolled out. I think even last year. So we're over
Well,
six
that's
six months.
that's not that long, Mick. But no,
I know. Not that I'm going to use the five options, but I think it's kind of like once in a while you think, oh, I wish there was a 5th one, but then I say, no, it's not a good idea. But on the other hand, it's still not having access to it creates the necessary FOMO to look at it all the time.
hmm. What about your project, Mick, of writing articles and improving your SSI score again? I
Oh,
mean, your article from today, Eat Your Own Dog Food, at the LinkedIn professional profiles, is an interesting one. But in general,
um, writing articles does contribute to the SSI score, contributes only to the top line, which is the professional brand. Um, Obviously, I've written 4 articles, which is what LinkedIn used to request. Well, actually, I've written 5, including today's article. But I've only, I mean, in the past, it used to be 4 articles would give you an extra point in the
Mhm.
top line of the professional brand. Now I'm seeing it's more than 1. I think it's kind of closer to 1.5 as opposed to 1. Now I have to wait to actually write more articles because I want to see how quickly now it drops from the score. Um, and after a few days after writing 4, it didn't really drop. So I assume it's going to be the same rule, a month, and then the numbers will go down.
Okay.
But it definitely has an effect on your SSI. And like I said, I'm seeing a different number than before, but to be verified, because in the past there was a system which was like the last article gave you zero point 0.1, the one before that gave you like 0.3 of 0.2, and then 0.3, and then 0.5. So there was a really good fixed system in it, but it doesn't look like that anymore. It looks a little different these days.
And we all know there's no real, well, the time you have discovered all the secrets, they will change the rules.
Agreed. The only reason I did it is because my SSI score dropped in the professional brand, and I wanted to figure out why it dropped, and articles had something to do with it. And I also assume, or I also think that a newsletter and an article, which are theoretically the same thing, are treated differently in the SSI score, but to be
Hmm.
confirmed.
Something else, Mick, hashtag. Have you seen a drop of usage of hashtags?
No, and I'm not going to stop using hashtags because they are part of my URL, which gets picked up by Google, and I don't care what everybody says, but I haven't seen a drop in reach in terms of using or not using. Have you?
No, well, not really. I haven't really checked them out, I must say. But this post from Richard, post with 3 to 5 hashtags get 29% less reach than posts with 0. We've tested 47,000 posts.
I,
The
in
algorithm.
all honesty, I'm going to say this word only once.
wait a
in
minute.
French.
The last sentence, the first 5 minutes. No, sorry. The algorithm sees hashtag as spam signals now.
I think that's bullshit. Sorry.
No, you don't have to be sorry, Mick. It is what it is, and we all have our personal opinions. And of course, opinion is different than facts and
Mm,
tested. But
yep.
to me, they work for me.
Yeah.
It's indeed part of the URL, so I use them. I must say I don't use them all of the time, so I have not a fixed rule to go along with hashtags. But I still
Yeah.
see some hashtags, and then I think, well, what's the added value for this?
Agreed.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think the way I look at the hashtags today, I kind of use the same two all the time. And the third one, I always use three. The third one is always about the post. The first and the second are really I look at as SEO type of hashtags, in the sense that if I use the same two, it's more likely that Google is going to pick me up than if I use, the ones that you're kind of pointing to, which don't make any sense.
No, true. I see a question in the comments, Mick, from Craig Davis. I do have a question to ask. Besides AI comments, what do you think is the biggest issue which should be addressed more? P.S. Thank you for the link to the event, Mick.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what Craig is trying to ask here. What's the biggest issue we should address or should be addressed more? Perhaps you should or could clarify if you're listening, Craig, because this comment was added yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure. Well, he can listen to the replay, of course, to the recordings.
But when it comes down to hashtags, I mean, I continue to say use three. It's kind of like the whole discussion about, should I put a link in my post? Shouldn't I put it in the comments? And those are so. I mean, I think one should follow one's, kind of gut feeling on why you should have these things in there, and you should have a bit of a reason to have them in your post. I think that is that for me, that is the most important thing.
But there's always a trend that is picked up, Mick. For instance, add 3 URLs instead of 1. And then you see a bunch of people trying to test that if it works.
Right.
I always have the feeling that we're behind. Well, I'm not sure how you would say it in English, behind the facts. But for example, on Monday, this rule applies, and you work with that rule on Tuesday, it might have changed. So it's always looking back in history. And if you have to work and pay attention to the algorithm all of the time, it's becoming like a trick, and it's not human anymore, not authentic. All of those words we've used many times. But still, I'm not a person that is following. It's the same. Well, fashion. Are you following trends, or are you trendsetter, or are you way behind? I mean, follow your own rules, I would say.
I think you need to foremost, ask yourself, who are you doing this for, and what are you trying to bring to that audience, and what is the best way to bring it, and I think that will definitely define what kind of, what your own, set out your own rules, knowing that there is an algorithm. You don't control the algorithm. There is no way you can influence. And the most important thing about the algorithms is that most of it is something that is not visible to, the public eye. Things happen in the back, and that's what you don't get a view on. And then, people start guessing what could be happening, and create sometimes strange thoughts of line about how algorithms are functioning or not functioning.
Yeah, true. And going back
So,
to this verification, Mick, I just saw the comment of
yeah,
Marjolein Cohen. I have now two verification, personal and work, without premium.
okay. All right. Well, that's great to hear. I mean, if your page was among the lucky ones to get verified, which mine wasn't, and apparently yours neither. So yeah, I mean that's the way it is. I'm not going to try company page premium at this point, even though it might be a good idea because LinkedIn has actually increased their prices, and they're doing some interesting price shifts in to the premium subscriptions, in the sense that obviously Sales Navigator is costing you more now, especially the advanced version is costing more, the free version too. And second of all is the recruitment version. They're kind of changing the Recruiter Lite and eliminating the individual recruiter module. Well, they're integrating it into the enterprise agreement, which actually entails increasing the price.
Yeah, and we checked out. I think it was last week, Mick, that a year subscription. There's about 400 euros difference now from
Yep, that is
the
right.
I started. Well,
Yep,
and I keep that price
yep,
until I cancel my subscription. And when
correct.
you enter just now with a new subscription, it was 400 euros difference per
Yep,
year, which is well, for a solopreneur, perhaps well, absolutely, it's a big difference.
yeah, it is. It is. It is. Just before we got started, I told you about the joke of the week that I saw. There is a company page on LinkedIn, which is actually the company page of, I think it's the White House. And in the previous administrations, Barack Obama used to add that page as his employer. Now, in the last week, somebody had the bright idea of replacing the logo, which is theoretically the stamp of the United States, by the face of Donald Trump. Which, if you then go to the company of the White House, you see Donald Trump's face on Barack Obama's profile, which is kind of a bit of a joke. And I mean, Barack Obama is obviously somebody who catches a lot of wind and is seen by many people. But when
Mhm.
you look at an employee who said, "I work at the White House," now all of a sudden they have as the logo on their profile, personal profile, they've got the face of Donald Trump, which is kind of an interesting, I won't say dangerous, but an interesting way of implementing changes. What do you think?
Well, it's what they call personal branding, Mick.
Okay.
No, it's an interesting situation that you replace your logo by a person. I mean, yeah, he's a powerful person, but this is to me, well, they cross a line here, in my
Yeah,
perspective.
no, I agree. I agree. They have crossed the line.
But it is what it is, and with politics, you never know where it goes.
No,
So
that's true.
that's why I don't talk politics on LinkedIn, and
Right.
I respect everyone's personal thought and feeling, but
Yep.
do respect others as well.
Yeah. Another thing I want to bring up at this point is it's that time of the season, as they say, for the social media platforms to submit their first half of this year's transparency report. So there is a new
Mhm.
version of the LinkedIn one. There's also a new version of the Facebook one and Instagram one. So though it's kind of interesting to see, especially the Facebook one. I mean, everybody keeps telling me Facebook is dead, and when you go look at the monthly average users, it's 8.1 million, which is kind of like, I don't think Facebook is that dead. LinkedIn is still at the same level as far as I'm concerned as the second half of last year, which is 1.9 users, which is about a third of the Belgian LinkedIn memberships. I mean, I haven't don't have the paper in front of me, but I think Holland is also around the 30-35 mark, so percent mark. So interesting to see how those numbers are being published, and I always ask how serious should we take these numbers, but at least it gives us a bit of an idea.
When you Google on transparency report, there's an interesting result. There's a post from yesterday from Simon Steele, who is the executive secretary of the UN climate change. And he writes, transparency is so much more than technical reporting. It's the catalyst for transformation. Wise words from a wise man.
Right.
But indeed, reports, and we've discussed this many times before also, Mick. Someone told me a long time ago, what was it? About reports and graphics.
Oh yeah, there is data and there are lies.
Yeah. You have small lies and big lies, and also with these reports, what's added to the report and what's left out.
True.
But in total, we do need these reports, Mick, and hopefully they're all correct. But we're working on transitions and keeping a platform safe. For instance, there's so much discussion on any platform about what is shown to the public and what is left out or picked out and hidden by the algorithm or by the operators behind the platform. I mean, it's crazy, for instance, that it was last week this Frenchman was killed live on a social, and people subscribe to this platform, and he was beaten to death live on the platform. So we still have sick minds and people that have different opinions about what's normal and what's not normal. But yeah, we all join a platform, whether you call it social or a business platform or a networking platform, and we all have different thoughts and thoughts about rules. We often talked about the LinkedIn police, people saying, well, this is not Facebook, it's too personal. So in the end, a platform develops and changes over time.
It's the users that make what the platform becomes.
Yes and no. It's the users that decides if they are in power, but it's always someone else who is in power. And if the platform is growing over a certain tipping point, and I mean, we often discussed what's the alternative for LinkedIn. Basically, there's none. What's the alternative for WhatsApp? People change to Signal, for instance, but still other people keep being active on WhatsApp. So there's, in the end, so therefore I'm glad we have big organizations like European Union with their rules and privacy rules that are the only ones that can check the rules and basically if they don't respect the rules, they can fine them. But who is powerful enough to change or to alter the direction of a platform like LinkedIn? I mean, we're just small users, Mick. We even if a million people would say, well, we don't like what you're doing, we leave the platform, there's still a lot of other users that still keep on being active on the platform.
I think as long as the big numbers are there, I mean, whatever we've all said about Twitter or X, people are still on X. X isn't gone, and it's not going anywhere soon. I think it's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game, and the platform is changing. So people who have left have a different opinion, and meaning there's more of the other side, if you would say it like that. But
True.
still, the platform is there, and it will stay.
Yeah, but
For,
the thing is, how many people who actually leave, and then we get into, when people die, but that you need to remove their profiles. But I mean, how many people have a profile on platforms that they never use again, and in their own mind, they're not there anymore, but they still have a profile there, and
yeah,
I think very few people actually delete their profiles when they actually leave.
agree. To some, it's FOMO. They want to keep their profile alive just in case. But indeed, for a lot of people, well, they left and they don't left. Not physically,
Mhm.
but they don't use it anymore. But I'm an optimistic person, Mick. We can
Oh.
discuss a lot of negative issues about
No.
LinkedIn, about X, about whatever. LinkedIn still works for me.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
mm, I think it's a great platform to show visibility, to show your brand, to
completely,
share a lot of value and knowledge.
I fully
Um,
agree.
but on the other side, people and businesses are still struggling on
Mhm.
how to use it and how to best use it.
That is definitely true, and it could still also is evolving in all kinds of way. It's they're adding new things that change directions for certain people and certain companies. So, which in itself is a good thing.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward, Mick, to our next presentation in March at Uplift Live. Still discovering the ways and the rules and especially different cultures, because that will
Yeah,
be the topic we will be discussing on the stage. Different usage of LinkedIn, for instance, in New Zealand, Australia, or India, or in South America, versus
true.
what we do here in the Netherlands and Belgium.
And we also will be talking about taking advantages of these other ways of using the platform, maybe in your own country to develop your own business.
Absolutely, absolutely. So looking forward to that, Mick, and
Yeah,
wishing you a great weekend. We will be meeting at noon in our Dutch version of discussing all the presentations of Uplift Live, and
correct.
today it will be Sam Rattling,
Yep.
our the last presentation. So look forward to talk to you again, and to the people in the audience. Have a great weekend.
All right, everybody have a great weekend and see you in 2 weeks for the next English version or next week for the Dutch version.
Okay, bye bye.